Welcome to this week's episode of Crypto City. Appreciate you all coming out on your Monday night. Tonight in the Metaverse, it's actually a very poignant night for everyone who was a part of the Altspace community. Tonight is the 2-year anniversary, and there's actually a lot of memorial worlds in here right now tonight celebrating a time when things were, very special to a lot of us. And, there's things that, people can say like, oh, well, Altspace has been gone for 2 years, move on. We've moved on. We're doing other things, but it was a very special time that a lot of us hold dear to our hearts. But I think what's very important to recognize is that that's the kind of community that VR fosters. There's a lot of people in here who have been friends for, over 5 years. There are people who just met yesterday. There's a lot of different communities within the metaverse, and there are people who work together, play together. There are people who have met, fallen in love, and gotten married. There are people who have started businesses both in here and outside of the metaverse. And there are people who are in here helping other people's businesses grow. So I think it's just important to acknowledge that, this is not just a game. Yes, there's lots of games to play in here, but it fosters community and companionship and friendships and business relationships as well. So, tonight we say, Altspace, we miss you. Thanks for the memories. And yes, we are moving on and we are doing bigger and better things, but it will always remember it fondly. So with that, tonight we are actually going to have several guests on to talk about full body tracking and, how it works and, what you might want to use it for. And I know there's some people who are in our audience who might already have it, but there's a lot of people who see it and don't really know how they would go about getting it and implementing it into their VR routine. So if you would please take a moment with me, I'm going to introduce 4 guests that are going to come out one at a time. We're going to start with LoudFire. Please join us on stage. Welcome, LoudFire. And many of you know LoudFire is actually part of our production team, so we are very grateful to have you here tonight. And now please welcome Velgromax. Welcome, Velgro.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
Let's bring out Dominion.
Hello.
And let's bring out Roxy, please. And LoudFire, you're in my seat.
Hi. Not tonight, baby. This is my spot. Oh my goodness.
Well, we can put people on this couch too. We have this couch too.
Okay.
I get it. No, I scratch up one couch and you'll never let me forget about it. I see. Wow.
So all of you here, we can see you're all sitting in different poses and everything because you actually have the luxury of full body tracking, which allows you to actually emulate the body movements of your entire body for any of you who aren't familiar with it. So let's start with LoudFire. I'm actually going to defer to you to start this one. Ooh. We're going to talk about the actual technology behind how full body tracking works. And since you've been, involved in tech for a long time, I'd like you to kind of, start us off with that, and then we can have other people join in.
Ooh, thank you, my good lady. Full body tracking. Let me tell you, it's the difference between standing still and moving like a dream. I absolutely love mine. The ones that I have is I know I'm going to butcher this name, Heratora X Wireless. They're smooth, sleek. There's no base stations for mine, just pure motion. And they're tiny. Each one of the trackers that I'm wearing 6, are about the size of a quarter. Very small, very lightweight, about 1/2 inch wide. Mine put together with elastic stripes. Very nice. But unlike the traditional optical trackers that require like external cameras, mine use internal sensors. That's the 9 IMU system. Yeah, that stands for internal measurement system. It's a system meant for tracking motion, like the accelerometers. That's what you use to measure the movement and your speed. The gyroscope, that's what tracks the rotation and your orientation. And of course, the magnometers, that's used to determine your relative position within the Earth's magnetic field. Now, IMU-based trackers, like the Hertaris, they detect your body's movements without needing any external cameras. That's the lighthouses or the base stations. This makes setup really, really easy, which is good because I'm really, really lazy. There's no external reference points, no lasers, no cameras. I like that. That's the cat style right there. But unfortunately, the small tracking errors, they can build up over time.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about the benefits and the technology challenges with that in a minute. So let's stick to actually, like, so for those of us who are just in a straight headset, when we move, our head moves, we move our hands move, but our legs are pretty static other than gliding across the room. There's a little bit of leg motion, but it's not actually our legs moving because we're pretty much most of us sitting still unless we get up and we walk across the room, but there's no tracking of our legs. So with the full body tracking, you're getting, if we look up at this graphic, you've got the head, the back, the wrists, the ankles, and some of them even have other spots along the legs too. Roxy, you mentioned earlier you have like 6 trackers on your legs.
Not too many, but there are people who do, they do elbow, there's elbow. Don't you do elbow tracking?
I'm not wearing them right now, though.
Oh, he's not wearing them right now, but yeah.
I have elbow too. I'm not using them currently.
Okay, yeah,
I can put them on, but yeah, I also have elbow.
2 feet, and then one on my hip, and then I do have an additional one on my head. That's for continuous tracking. So, my setup is I have the Quest 3S. I have one 2.0 Vive tracker. That's different than what LoudFire had. I have one 2.0 tracker that's pardon, duct taped to my headset, and then my feet and hips are the 3.0s. Continuous tracking helps me so that when I'm calibrating, I don't have to continuously calibrate every time I lose my tracking. It's basically like an anchor point for the rest of my trackers. Then, cause I dance with my tracking and with the pole, it helps so much. With
so
the
you get better stability and better, what people see looks more lifelike. Now that's, we're going to talk a little bit, like I said, about the benefits and the use cases for it. But, moving on to, like, you mentioned a couple brands and LoudFire mentioned a different brand. So there's many choices out there. But there's different reasons why you would choose different brands. You mentioned Vive. I know there's Connect. There's also the Slime tracker. So they range in price. They range in capabilities.
Yeah.
Like I know that Blue actually, part of our team here, she has the Slime ones. And like a lot of people have different things to take into consideration when you're choosing which ones you're going to use. So, Velgro, why don't you tell us, which ones are you using and why did you choose what you chose?
Well, in total, I got like 7 trackers. I have 7 3.0s. 6 mainly on my body, chest, hip, ankles, elbows, and one on my head. Again, with continuous tracking. So what continuous tracking is usually a program that you could download online. And it's usually when unfortunately for Quest, if you have a Quest headset, you can't really it's not fully synced with your trackers. You need to download a program connected to Steam VR, and the regular you have to download a program called Open Calibration. I think Open Calibration, I believe.
Yeah, it's Open Calibration. Yeah.
So like the regular version, you have to do figure 8s so you can calibrate, the trackers can calibrate towards your body. And I wouldn't recommend that because it becomes a headache. Like it winds up, you could do it at least once per session, or you could do it like
I agree
5 or 6. So like what I did is
Depends on the VR day.
Yeah, pretty much. So then like I want to put a little bit more extra cash on the side to buy an extra tracker, and I kind of ghetto rigged it on my headset, so that way, it automatically syncs up to my headset without even doing the figure eights. So yeah, so and I have like, I believe, four base stations 2.0s, and yeah, that's pretty much my setup.
Okay.
And
Dominion, how about you?
I don't do none of that. I'm a Quest hater. I'm gonna be honest. I started with the Quest. That's kind of how I was. I'm a Quest hater. I'm sick and tired of the Quest. I'm sick and tired of the figure eights every time. Every time you took off the headset, you got to recalibrate. The moment I got a rig, what do you call it? I use a Valve Index, and I actually upgraded my trackers a long time ago. I go with Tundra trackers. I've already had base stations, so I didn't have that issue. I just kind of got more base stations over time. But once I got Tundras, I bought 8. I never went back. I don't ever plan to go back. Like, as badly as people talk about face tracking right now with the new Quest Pro, don't want it. I don't want the extra hassle and the extra headache. It's just, I'm sorry, I'm a Quest hater. I'll be the one to say it. I can't stand it.
I can't stand, because I've probably bought so many fucking cables to buy. Pardon my French. I've bought so many cables to buy like 3 Quest headsets. Hence why I went with the Quest headset.
Right. I get why for you. Like, why for you? Like you have, like, you have the pole, so it like makes sense for you because like you have more continuous. I don't need that. I don't do that section. So like I'm a little more free, but also I have a pulley system for my wire. So a lot of people probably wonder like, how do you dance like, when you're in VR? I have a pulley system that attaches to my ceiling. So I basically have 2 kind of, how can I say, like kind of bungee cords that's connected to my ceiling. I don't have a ceiling fan in my room, so I could just put it up in the ceiling. It pulls at any time. It doesn't actually affect my cord. It doesn't damage it. It doesn't do anything of that sort. And I don't have to like deal with those extra like things. I don't have to fear if I'm stepping on it and all that stuff, because I've stepped on my cord numerous times before I got this thing. And now I can't go back. I'm good. I'm good with a wire. I don't have an issue with it, because people always go, oh my God, I can't stand the wire. I don't like the wire. I'm like, bro, it's really, you really
Keep
don't.
your wire.
You really don't notice it. Now, for Roxy's sake, I get it. I get why. But for me, I'm like, I don't understand. Y'all just making a big deal out of nothing. Y'all really tripping.
No wires.
Well,
no wires.
I mean, it's funny though, because you're all describing how your systems are so very different from each other. And that kind of brings us to our next topic of, like the benefits and, and the challenges. So like the pros and cons with the different systems. So let's talk about, when you're choosing it, there are different things that are factors, like, your space in your home, or, how you are going to be able to set this up. You can't have base stations sometimes if you're in an apartment, because you can't be installing things. So you might need to go with a system that's a little bit easier. Or, you might have a huge empty basement that you're doing all your stuff in, and you can go even further and put in more immersive stuff. So, the pros of it is obviously it's making it way more immersive for you. Like you are actually doing all your movement. You've got freedom. But let's talk about, costs too, because what he described sounds like a little bit more costly than maybe the slime tracker. So let's talk about
you got that right.
I'm gonna raise my hand. I'm gonna raise my hand. I'm gonna be a student real quick and raise my hand, because I don't want to be rude.
No, you're good.
Another thing that I have to just kind of like tell people, because it's something that a lot of people seem to misconnect at certain times. When it comes to like wireless tracking, like when you don't have a base station, it's great, fine and dandy if you don't have good Wi-Fi. That's the biggest thing that a lot of people don't understand. And I try to tell people, like, if your room or your space that you're going to do like your VR content in doesn't have the best Wi-Fi capability, like if you're in your room and you're away from the router, just don't even do it. Don't even do it. Like, to get the better, like, system where you
Even
have the base stations in your walls, even a booster. If you have a booster, sometimes the boosters aren't even like able to help you. Like you need to take that Wi-Fi router and put it in the space where you gonna be doing a lot of that work. Cause I'm telling you that latency is gonna kill you. If you have any thoughts of doing anything physical in VR, like especially in VR chat, that latency is gonna have you mad as hell. I'm telling you, you're not gonna have a good time. And I'm trying to tell people that because I have so many people who was like, oh, I have slimes, and slimes are so great. I have slimes. I have terrible Wi-Fi. My system, I have like 17 to like 20 to like sometimes 30 latency. It's awful. The only thing I can do is just sit and just lounge. I can't do that. The when I put my usual stuff on, I can throw this and I can flick it hard and do whatever I need to, and it reacts to its normal capacity. So that's the biggest thing that a lot of people kind of miss out on telling, especially new people who are interested, who want to get into it, who want to try. Like if you have good Wi-Fi, go for it. Like you got it. Like if you have solid Wi-Fi, if you're near your router, amazing. If not, I would definitely suggest if you can move it, then at least you have space to do what you got to do. If not, I would suggest just kind of saving that bread and getting like the more stronger system. Yeah, definitely a stronger system.
I'm gonna like that onto that. So in terms of the Wi-Fi, you need at least 5 gigahertz of signal strength in order for you to at least able to play any type of VR game, whether just VR chat or anything else for that matter. The prerequisites that you can buy trackers with the Quest headset, but if you want the best for your buck, you got to get a gaming PC foremost. It doesn't have to be powerful 4060 graphics card or whatever the case may be. It has to at least be the minimum for the
3080 here
for. Yeah, 3060 for me. But like you need at least
1660 super. Hey, so you can do it on a 1660.
You can hold on. You can hold on.
No, but like you need at least a minimum requirement for the the settings for VR chat. You need to have good Wi-Fi. The way I set up my PC, my PC is connected to an extended router because my original router is kind of far, but it has to have at least 5 gigahertz of strength in order for it to work properly. So I connect my extended router by Ethernet cord to my PC, and then with the same extended router, I connect to my headset. So it's a bit of a technical maze in the way you have to like do step by step. Everybody's things are different, so at least that's how I set it up. But yeah, that's the most important thing.
The way I have mine set up.
Yeah, I was about to say, and I think with the Index, there is like they do like Valve has like does your system work with this computer? Like it should have like
goes through and checks it for you.
Checks it for you, yeah.
So and everything you're saying there doesn't really come as much of a surprise to me because we already have latency issues in here when we're doing music. We have latency issues with the slides if you're on PC versus if you're on Quest. Now, that's a big deal too because all of you when you come in, if you're in a PC avatar, which are, a lot of times better avatars for, doing, whether you're dancing or you're playing games and you want like a higher end one, but the people in Quest can't see you. So then, if we have the latency issues, if you're, trying to do something where your Wi-Fi isn't working perfect in here, I have to move, like when I do this show, I have to move all of my stuff from my office to my living room because even though I have a booster in my house is too long and it doesn't quite reach all the way to the end. So it becomes choppy. So I just have to move closer to the router, so I get that. And that makes sense for pretty much all technology, it seems, in here. But it's funny because you mentioned, Velgro, that like, whether you're not just in VR chat, but if you're out playing games. So there's a lot of things, you mentioned you dance, I know most of you are dancers over at Skysong. I know that, LoudFire, she plays lots of games, but she's had full body tracking for probably the longest person I've known to have it because she's high on the tech stuff and everything. So, there's also other games and other apps that are really good for doing all this. Actually, we have a list of some of the ones that are more commonly used. So obviously we know VR chat is a great one for doing full body tracking, because people have different whether it's the dance clubs or whether you're just, doing an event where you want to be able to have the motion and look like you're human, interaction with other people. It looks a lot more realistic. But, there's games and social, but there's also fitness and movement based apps like Beat Saber, LoudFire. You're a big Beat Saber person. So,
I was just about to say, I use Beat Saber to warm up sometimes for dancing.
Right? And in addition to the dancing here in VR chat, there's other dance apps that right?
I'm gonna have to look into some of these because I'm like, what?
Well, and then Fuchsia runs the virtual fitness group, and there's Les Mills and VR Workout that if you have the trackers, you would see more of the physical interaction with that. And it probably registers, if you're in this for fitness, I would imagine, I've not done it myself because I don't have full body tracking, but that it would probably register different things. Like if you're doing squats, if you're doing jumps and stuff, it probably picks up on that from the tracking on the legs, which we don't have if we're just in headset. And then there's there's content creation, and performance-based apps. So those are things that, people can go in there and actually do videos, anime videos and stuff for using, for marketing purposes, for movies, things like that. And you'd want to have full body tracking for that as well. So you can pick up all of the motion and make it look realistic like a movie. So, are you guys using your full body tracking in anything outside of VR?
Blade and sorcery.
All right. I would say VR games, and like I said, Beat Saber is what I mainly use it for.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Blade and Sorcery, for those who don't know, is actually an adventure game, like a more not like a social app,
more like
even though you make
and
friends in there. Yes.
I think it's mostly single player. It's just you just literally just like fight in full body. So that's literally what it is.
Oh God.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of VR full body tracking games here in VR chat too. I recently did a kickboxing one. That was fun.
Oh, nice.
Then there's Dance Dance Revolution. And then of course they have the Beat Saber. Also with Beat Saber, the authentic game, I hooked that up to another app called Live. And what that does is you can bring in your avatar and play the game with it.
Oh, that's
so you can actually watch
I'm gonna need some connections with that one. I'm gonna need some connections with that one. I've been trying to figure that out.
I used to do that a long time ago back in Altspace. It was so much fun. I finally had to find a way that worked over here, as a matter of fact. Chris NYC, he's the one that showed me how to get it working over here. So shout out.
Nice. Gotcha.
I have a VR rig in my living room. That's like where my main production work is. And I play the other game that I play outside of this is Assetto Corsa. I love driving and I love racing. So I have my VR rig, and then I have the pedals and the steering wheel. So I love doing racing.
I need to race.
Dark in the mid race.
I have that game too.
It's really
competition already starting.
It's really fun and super. It's really deep. Like the quality of it is super nice. So imagine just you're driving against 18 other racers, and it's nighttime. You're in Seattle, and it's just the quality is just insane on Assetto Corsa. You can also do just normal runs too. That's what a lot of people do. Those are also really fun. But my main source of content is here. I do TikTok. I do live streams. I built a VTuber group that I'm slowly building. I'm up to 60. I'm about to hit 65K on TikTok. Wow. I do fashion content. So I do different kinds of different types of live stream experiences. The last one we just did was for Love and Deep Space, which was really fun. And I have some events that I'm going to pretty soon, related to my VTuber character. And, I'm trying to, break into, certain industries that, don't normally have VTubers, especially let alone black VTubers as well. So I'm trying to do something to hopefully change the game.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
So now you guys are regular dancers at Sky Song Club, and which Kip VR actually runs that, one of our sponsors and our creator of this world. Shout out to Kip. So, you go there and now you're dancing on a stage. You've got the full body tracking on. In what we see looks like you're standing in one spot and you're just moving around on the stage, but you're actually moving. You're doing all of those full motions in your literal IRL home space. So what I'd love to have you do, and we'll start with you, Roxy, if you don't mind, is can you give a little demonstration of how you can move your body and actually show your legs move, and so we can kind of see.
I'll do one better. Oh, let me come down into the front. Yeah, perfect. There you go. Yeah, where is it? I'm gonna take off my slippers real quick so I'm not. But like for instance, like I was saying, like I was saying before, I won't do anything too. But I have my pole.
That's my girl.
Yeah, sure.
So you can see her whole body moving. We can see the legs. We can see all of that. So now, would you like to demonstrate as well, little girl? We'll get a little from each of you.
I mean, it's just I usually rely on my play space a lot. In terms of dancing, I also do a lot of power moves and stuff like that. For example.
Ooh.
Get it, Unc!
And this we cannot do in our heads without the tracking. Because if I stood on my head right now, not only would I get hurt, but I would my headset would just crash down. I'd have a weird AFK pose. How about you, LoudFire? You want to show us, do you have your swing maybe?
I do. Hang on. And as we were talking earlier, I have to do the T-pose because I'm a little too close to, this is the T-pose. If you see anyone doing this, moving your line in their body.
T-pose for dominance. T-pose for dominance. T-pose for dominance. Helicopter.
Baby. Let's see.
Oh. So she's in a swing right now, and it's tracking her body moving back and forth.
I want to say, get out to the middle. Get out to the middle.
And apparently, I'm just going to swing on your head. Here we go.
Too funny.
There you go.
Things you did not think you would see on Crypto City. I love it. But that's really cool.
It's a special swing.
The motion that you can pick up. And
girl, you already know.
All right, show us what you got.
I know Dominion got moves. I see one of Dominion. Yeah,
come on, show something for the ladies.
Yeah. Did he maybe crash out? Oh, there he goes.
I just realized I was muted. Oh my God, how unprofessional.
No, you're good. You're good. It happens.
It does happen sometimes, but I could swap into something a little bit different just so you have kind of an idea. Because I do a lot of really big themed, theatrical type of showcases. So I showcase different models and different things, and I'd love for my hip to work. Oh, it turned off because I was sitting down. That's normal. Also, when you sit down, your tracker sometimes turns off on you. That's another thing.
Hence why I'm
which can get really annoying. Yeah, which can get super annoying. And sometimes tracking also turns in so many different ways, and then it sticks. But that's kind of a normal thing.
I like that.
So one of the big things that I don't do power moves too often. I'm just really good at transitions. So transitioning in terms of dancing keeps the flow of movement very well. But also I'm really good with my hips.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Dominion.
That's right. Work that surfing, Mr. Man.
But then, okay, so for the ladies in the audience, you can rewatch this on YouTube.
Little personal enjoyment
but
for
I also
you.
have different versions as well. So this isn't my model, but a friend of mine made this model. This is actually a model that you can buy. It also has a Quest version, but this is her serpent that she made. This is mostly for performance. So this has a whole range of different things that it can do. It's got a whole sword system, which like you can actually like pull out with the whole flame. I don't even know if you guys can even see this one, but it has like different modes on it, but it's really cool.
If they're on PC, they'll see it.
Maybe they might be able to, but yeah, that's kind of like the whole gist of it. And yeah, this is kind of one of mine that I use and like to fuck with a little bit.
Pretty amazing. So, I mean, for those of you who are out there and you're thinking, you know, like, oh man, I see them doing these moves. I want to be able to play with that. So let's go real quick down the aisle and like give a ballpark range of what you think a normal system would cost if you were not going all to the very end, but a good entry level system, a good entry level.
Let me tell you, the most expensive DLC you'll get. The most expensive DLC you'll have to get.
Okay.
It's true.
I mean, in terms of how much I spend with my, I think with just 2 base stations and 3 trackers, I spend about 600 in total. And now I have 4 base stations and 7 trackers, so just I think maybe it's over $1,000 now. I'm not too sure. But yeah, you can't. The best way I can say is, you know, most and foremost, the most important thing you need is a gaming PC, a good gaming PC, before you even think about buying trackers. If you buy trackers and you still be standalone, you could do that, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. You get the most out of it with the gaming PC.
It's an investment.
It's definitely.
It's more like a rabbit hole. Like, I won't say investment. I mean, once you start buying trackers and base stations, you don't stop.
It's bad.
You know?
Yeah. I would say about $1,200. Yeah.
Okay. So somewhere between 1,000 and 1,200 for a decent system that's maybe not top of the line, but good enough to actually be robust and carry you through.
I think so. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Nice Christmas present.
I think it depends on the bag. I think I probably have spent the most out of this group. But to be fair, my setup, my PC, I didn't pay for it. That was actually a sponsorship. So I got lucky with that one.
Hey, yo.
My PC is worth about $4,000. The VR itself is worth $1,000 because Index is the max you can spend is $1,000, but it does give you 2 base stations, 2 controllers, so it does give you like a whole range to get started at least. But I mean, for $1,000, you better make sure you get something good anyway, right? So you will spend a pretty penny, but you also will not have many problems, which is also why a lot of people go, oh my God, you have really good hips. Why is your, when you do your transitions, it's so smooth, or how do you dance so smooth? It's because, well, one, it's good equipment, and 2, it's a lot of, but 2, it's also a lot of trial and error too. Like there's a lot of things where I've gotten a chance to get better at it. Yeah. You just have to keep trying shit and just keep fucking with your settings, keep finding things that fit for your style and what you want to do. And that's if you become a dancer, if you want to do dancing, things like that. You'll get a chance to like feel it out a lot more, but also, avatars. That's the other thing that people don't get. There's a whole avatar economy in this space that people do stuff. A lot of people have moved from Gumroad to PayHip because PayHip has a more better percentage for the creators, you know, and obviously people want to get paid. So I get it. But for me, I have a whole team of people. I have somebody who's dedicated to help me make all of my custom stuff because we do a lot of our stuff for content. She's big into fantasy and I'm big into fashion, so we're able to kind of fuse both, and we've been such a great team for like solid 2 years. So I'm gonna be honest, I've probably spent
I don't want to talk about how much I spent on this game.
I don't even know if I want to disclose that number. Actually,
I talk about it.
I think if no, we're being transparent. We're being transparent and honest here. From a creator side, from a space where I've been, but also I've made a lot of money off of TikTok. I would say I've probably spent over $10,000 in this game. If I'm being honest with you.
Wow. Amen. I was about to say,
I've probably spent
over
$10,000.
Ballpark too.
But you're doing things.
But hold on, because I know motherfuckers gonna be like, God damn, that motherfucker don't go outside. Hold on, wait before you make assumptions. I've made it back too as well. I've made that 10K back like easily, well off. I've made that money back for sure. Like you know, every single like with the TikTok earnings and me building this whole group that I'm building called Himbo House and everything that we've done, I've well over made that back. So I'm good. I'm good. I promise. I'm good.
So it really is an investment. You're not buying this just to sit around and play games. You're doing this because you're trying to develop.
You'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yes.
There's people in this game who spent that a lot of money and they still be sitting. Yes. Pretty. Don't do that. It's a whole thing.
Like badly.
Ooh, there was a little bit of a
okay, I'm back. Yeah.
I know a few friends like that.
I do too.
They got a job. They doing a normal thing. They come home and they're in VR. You know, we call them they're the mirror dwellers and the surfers. You know what I'm saying? They're the people like those people where they sit there and they go, "This person don't got no job because they always on." It's like, no, they got a job because that's how they keep coming back in this motherfucker. That's how they keep coming back in this motherfucker. I know friends. I got a few friends right now. There's like, you know, you would think like, how do you have a job? Like, how is that possible? And then like, you know, you see them and they're like, oh no, they do stay offline. And then when they get on, they get on. They get on these games. They club hop. They drink. They vibe. They go crazy. It be 7 a.m. They still in it, motherfucker. God damn.
Don't call me out.
There are people that aren't even working in here. There are people who are on all night long.
Girl, I'm looking right on you.
So there's no judgment. And great for you guys that you've actually been able to make your money back. That's awesome. So like wrapping it up a little bit, you know, the future of technology with this full body tracking, where do you see it could potentially go besides the dancing that you guys are doing?
Yeah, there's already face tracking. There's hand tracking is starting to improve here in sorry, I got the menu up. Gloves are coming soon. I'm hoping that we get to a level.
Gloves would be great. Gloves would be great.
I'm getting the gloves soon.
I'm hoping that we get to the level of a reference of Ready Player One. I hope we get to that level with like body suits, you know? I feel like we very much, you know, with the Vision Pros and the technology that's already going on in the AI bullshit, I really do think, pardon my French again, I do think it's gonna be to a point where trackers because the Tundra trackers are already small, correct?
They're already really small.
Trackers
they're really very tiny.
Are getting, just like phones, trackers are getting smaller and more compact. So I really do feel like things are gonna, you know, go up from here. They're starting with the gloves. There's already the haptic suits too.
There's already haptic suits. Haptic suits been out for a minute.
Oh my gosh.
Haptic suits been out.
Especially for the people who like shooter games.
Haptics and the Tesla suit, awesome.
Haptic suits been out for a minute. I think now it's getting to the point where there's like full suits where you can really feel like every like touch and capability for your senses. That's if you want to like go that route. But I've actually agreed with Roxy. I've actually talked to a lot of people in terms of the content that I do. I've already said VR chat is already a Ready Player One-esque like version. It's just a low budget. It's a low budget D-movie version of Ready Player One. We're not at the level yet where it's you know where we're driving through massive things and a gorilla's chasing you. We're not at that level yet. We're not there, but with the right okay, that's a reference to the movie itself. If you ain't seen the movie, I promise I'm not racist. It's it's a movie. That's a reference to the movie. That actually happened to me. It's all for real. But when I say that, I really do believe that just like I can agree with Roxy, this place is Ready Player One. It's at that point. It already has a booming community. It already has a space that thrives off of the music scene. It thrives off of the dance scene. It thrives off of creator scenes. And a whole economy at this point has been built. So it's only a matter of time. And I've said this to a lot of people. You know, VR chat had its really big breakthrough through memes. You know, the Uganda Knuckles was a really big send off. Then it kind of would deter into all the other memes that kind of took over the game, right? And I've said this to a lot of people, VR chat won't have a blow up again like how it did the first time. How it's going to blow up is through the creators. It's how the creators take this game and push it to the next level. And unfortunately, VR chat doesn't necessarily have the best reputation, but there's still a lot of great communities. There's still a lot of great people in this game. There's still a lot of amazing things that you can still see and that you can still do based off of just how creators think. And when you get to that point of like going past, the black cats and the OptiBox, once you get past the usual, memey, screamy people who be, once you get past that the first stage, stuff. That's when you really see the game for what it is and what it's worth. Then you go, wow, this space is not just some 11-year-olds hurling slurs at me. This is actually some cool shit. Hold on.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the stage one.
The first impression when you don't know is a little overwhelming, but the children that are a little bit.
It's a Call of Duty lobby.
There it is.
There you go. It's a Call of Duty lobby. When you get into a game, it's the first thing you hear. You start hearing slurs. You're like, they getting active. And then that's when you want to get active too. And you realize, wait, I'm demure. I am better than this. What am I doing? I am Garage. So once you get past that and you start hanging out with groups and you see other adults and you see like the vibe of it, that's when it's like, okay, like you start to realize there's a much deeper level to this space that, people don't see, that the average person doesn't necessarily see.
Right.
And you make great friends on this game. Great.
Absolutely.
I've met this mofo.
Great friends? They're enemies.
Oh my no, it is definitely there's a community in here for an economy. There's a community in here for companionship. There's both in here, and it's pretty impressive. What you can get out of it if you can get past that first level, like you talk about. You really need to know. You need to come in here and find your tribe, and then do great things. And there's a lot of people here in this audience that are doing amazing things in here, and all of you up here are capitalizing on when you came in here. You saw opportunities and you're capitalizing on it, and that's great. So I do appreciate you guys coming on here today to talk about this and teach the audience a little bit about the technology so that they kind of have a better understanding of what it is that you guys are doing when you're up on stage, or when you're acting and when you're dancing and all the different things that you do in here. Even playing games, it's really cool to see the full action figure, basically, which is really cool.
Absolutely.
It is.
It's always interesting being on TikTok, and I have people ask me, what's the name of my skin? And and the skin part throws me off, man. It throws me off because I'm like, we call it avatars here. Like, I don't want to be that guy that's like, we don't call it skins because then that just creeps me out. The fuck, it's in a skin, bro. I say, throw me off. I'm like, what the fuck is you talking about? Like, bro. So when we call it a skin, it's weird. Like, I'm like, oh my god. Those Fortnite terms. Oh my god, I haven't played that game forever.
No, let it go.
Right.
And then switching back over, because I say Avies all the time. They're like, what are you talking about, Avies?
Yeah, I say Abby all the time.
Yeah.
I always say Abby.
It's the lingo. It's the lingo. It is what it is, right? They call it Avies. It is what it is.
Well, thank you all for coming on and talking to our audience. Thank you all for being here tonight. Next week, we are going to have Mark Burst from Immersal come on. He's actually got a program that he's put together. I'm not going to spill the beans on it. I'm going to let you guys hear about it next week, but it's really cool. And I just found out about it when we were at the Meta Music Conference, because DJ Marcus put together a really cool spot for people to go and showcase what they're doing in VR, in here in the metaverse and outside the metaverse to help within the metaverse. And I was going through and I was reading his wall and I'm like, who is this guy? I need to meet him, bring him in here and talk about what he's doing with VR commerce. So we're going to have him next week. And so hopefully we'll see you all next Monday night. Thank you all for being here and have a great week.
Bye.
Cue the music, everybody.
Ah.